These are 10 excellent niche options if you want an extra special fragrance to reach for this summertime. A lot of these fragrances are rather new, but some of them have been around and you might not even have heard of them, but they're really special and super underrated. If this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances and I make videos 3 times a week on here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, along with a lot of bonus content in between. So if you're interested, definitely consider subscribing. So I like to talk about a mixed bag of fragrances. So I usually will go for really affordable ones, really niche, and everything in between. So this is going to be the niche version of this video, but I'm about to film another version of this video for a really affordable budget. So if you want something that's under $100 or even under $50, that's going to be the video to watch. But these are going to be the niche fragrance options that I think you should really know about if you want something extra special. First up is a refreshing sake fragrance with cucumber. This is from a brand that is pretty small, but they are making their mark by producing fragrances that are very unusual, that have really special and unique notes that you often don't see in perfumery. I'm talking about Cult of Kaori. Now, you may have heard me talk a lot about Binaurale. That is a full bottle from them that I have that I absolutely am obsessed with. But the one that I don't talk about that much is Melon Masu, and I have a 5 milliliter decant of this one, and I still really like it, but it's just when I was picking between doing Cult of Kaori's Binaurale versus Melon Masu, I really resonated with Binaurale, so that's one I ended up purchasing at the time. Melon Masu is also really extra special if you're looking for a really unusual cucumber and melon fragrance. This has a little bit of a refreshing quality to it with notes of sake, pear, and cucumber at the top, and then a mid of mountain water, fermented rice, green melon, rose, iris, and jasmine, and a base of sweet musk, Japanese cedar, hinoki wood, and amber. This fragrance opens rather fruity and full-bodied, but then as it dries down, you get something, or I get something, that's kind of similar to cucumber water, so it smells very spa-like. I really like it. I think it's a beautiful fragrance, and what's nice about these fragrances from Binaurale is that the concentration for them is very high. So this is a perfume that will last, that has a 25% concentration. This is a really pretty and unusual scent. So if you can get yourself a sample or a decant, definitely do so. They do sell decants, or they sell samples online. So you can try both Binaurale and Melon Masu. Melon Masu is perfect for the summertime if you're looking for that refreshing cucumber fragrance. This is a great option. I get a little bit of sake in the undertone. It's not as prominent, but what I definitely get is the cucumber. But since there is a little bit of fruity floralness to this fragrance as well, it's not just straight up cucumber. There's a bit of a body to it. There's a bit of a depth. So Melon Masu, very underrated fragrance. A really wonderful option if you're looking for a unique fragrance to try this summertime. Next up, I have a new release by Navitus. This is Melon Kiss. This was created in collaboration with Gabby Loves Perfume and Navitus. This is their 3rd collaboration, and I really, really love this scent. If you're looking for something really tropical, coconutty, with melon and a touch of honey, this is a really good option to try. I love this fragrance, and I can easily see this becoming like a perfect beach day perfume because it's sweet, it's refreshing, but if you are a gourmand lover, if you really like those full-bodied sweet gourmands, this is a great fragrance to try because it incorporates that kind of like gourmand style of fragrance with a little bit of something refreshing in the form of that melon. So if we're talking about 2 melon fragrances, right, so we have Cult of Kaori, Melon Masu, and Melon Kiss by Navitus. These are 2 very different fragrances. This one is a little bit more of like a greener interpretation of a melon, and this one is a fruity gourmand interpretation of like a honeydew melon. So think like a very ripe melon drizzled with honey, just drizzled with not too much honey, just a little bit, and coconut water on the side. So that's what this smells like. It's really, really pretty. I rather love it. I think it's great. But I do think that this is rather a polarizing scent because a lot of people, I think, got this fragrance expecting something else, but I personally really do like this. So if you can get a decant of this before committing to the full-size bottle, I love this bottle. I love this fragrance. I will be wearing this a lot. But if you are able to, definitely get yourself a decant or a sample before buying this perfume. And I'm pretty sure it's quite easy to get one since this fragrance is so hyped. But if you're looking for more information on this perfume, I did a full-length review talking about it, so definitely check that out as well. So this next fragrance is one that's a little bit more unusual, and I have some conflicting thoughts about this perfume, and I will get into them. This is from the maker, and this is called Paradiso. I love this perfume. I love this perfume. This is a fragrance with top notes of blood orange, mangosteen, and Sicilian bergamot. It also has a mid of ambrette, myrrh, and plumiera, and then a base of patchouli leaf, Moroccan cedar, and oak moss. Oh my gosh, I love this perfume. This is like one of those fragrances that I just love and I'm obsessed with. I definitely get the blood orange in the opening with like that fruitiness of the mangosteen. It's beautiful, and there's like a bit of like a slightly aromatic. There's just something like about this fragrance that I absolutely love, and because it has like those like that base of patchouli, cedar, and oak moss, this is a fragrance that lasts a really long time. Just a few sprays of this is sufficient, but because it has that blood orange and bergamot at the top, it's also a really refreshing perfume. So I think this is a perfect fragrance for the summertime that will also last all day, but you won't smell like a typical citrus kind of scent when you're wearing this fragrance. The one thing I don't like about this perfume is the fact that the full size bottle is, I think, like close to $200, and the cap is plastic. I'm sorry, like this is the first time I'm talking about. Well, actually, no, I've talked about the maker on this channel before, but what kind of like puts me off, I love the aesthetic of the brand, but the full size bottle, like literally the black cap is plastic, and I've felt it in person. I've seen it in person, and I'm like, that's a lot of money to be paying for a bottle that literally has a plastic lid. And maybe that's me being like super nitpicky, but like as a consumer, I think I have a right to be nitpicky. But the scent itself is so good. I'm always drawn to this. And to be honest, like I probably will be like end up purchasing the full bottle anyway because I love the scent so much. So I recently got this decant after, or this travel size after I've had a few samples of it. And I think like if I use this travel size up, I'll purchase a full bottle no matter what. But this is like a really, really special kind of fragrance. If you're interested in something that's like a little bit of like a darker, fruitier citrus, like if you're a gourmand lover, this is a really good one because it's citrus, it's gourmand, but it still has a little bit of a unique quality to it. This is extra special, and I really, really love this one. Paradiso by the maker, so beautiful, perfect for the summertime, especially if you want something a little bit more unusual. All right, next up, I have a fragrance by Guerlain. This is Aqua Allegoria Forte Mandarin Basilic. This is a gorgeous fragrance. I love this perfume. It's kind of like my essential little black dress version of a summer fragrance. There's really nothing not to like about this scent in my opinion. It's just a fragrance that I just reach for when I want something that's just approachable, something that I wouldn't say simple because I don't think this fragrance is simple, but this is kind of like your refreshing fragrance that I can personally just reach for, and I know I'll like it no matter what. And it's also not a perfume that's like a super heavy hitter, so I know that if I want something for just a few hours and I want to reapply something else later, this is the perfume I go for. So this has top notes of mandarin orange, basil, and cassis, and then a mid of orange blossom, just a slight bit of honey, anise, and Bulgarian rose, and then the base is vanilla and sandalwood. I definitely do get the citruses and the orange here, a little bit something floral that comes from the orange blossom. But like I said, this is just a really reliable summer fragrance that I love. And chances are you already heard of the Eau de Toilette version, but the Forte is a little bit stronger. And personally, I prefer the Forte. So Guerlain, an absolute essential for the summertime in my book. Next up is a newer release by Carner Barcelona. This is Helix, and this bottle was gifted to me by the brand. I have my little cute mini, but oh my gosh, this is so good. So this is a really pretty, refreshing, zesty fragrance for the summertime that has a little bit of fruitiness to it, but it's very slight. Can you tell I love fruity fragrances? But like I like them when they have like a little bit of a twist. And so many of these fragrances are fruity with a twist, and I'm just obsessed. But this has top notes of bergamot, peach, and sage. I think the sage is what really just draws me to this fragrance personally. But then you have a mid of sea notes, orange blossom, and lily of the valley, and then a base of Virginian cedar, Haitian vetiver, and musk. Oh my gosh, this is like a gorgeous fragrance. I do think this is a unisex perfume, and there's just something about it that's so good. Like, this is just a really pretty fragrance. I love the sage here. I think it has decent longevity considering that this is like a very like marine aquatic fragrance. And if you're looking for something that will have a gorgeous sillage, this is beautiful. There's just something about it that is just gorgeous. Like, I think the sage here really lends it like a slightly unusual touch, because otherwise I feel like without the sage this would be a bit of like a typical fragrance. And when I saw the notes, I didn't have the highest expectations, to be honest, because I was like, okay, this is probably not going to be my style of fragrance. But when I smelled this perfume, I was instantly drawn to this because I was like, there's something about like inserting a slightly like herbal aspect into a fruity ozonic fragrance that is very unusual and not necessarily something I've smelled before. So Helix by Carner Barcelona, such a beautiful summer zesty perfume while still having a little bit of an unusual quality to it. This is a new release. I smelled this for the first time in Essence, and I believe it's now available. So if you want something that's on the unusual side, this is definitely one to try. Next up is a fragrance that has been around for a bit, but is, in my opinion, very much underrated. This is a fragrance that's a little bit spicy, but citrusy and zesty at the same time. This has ginger notes in here. There's a bit of lime. Let's get into the scent pyramid, because when I tell you, this is such an interesting fragrance, I am in love. This has top notes of lime, bergamot, wasabi, citrus leaves, pear, and pink pepper, and then a mid of jasmine, ylang-ylang, Turkish rose, resin, and geranium, and a base of vanilla, musk, and cinnamon. So this is a perfume that has a slight spiciness to it, but it's mixed in with a really refreshing citrus quality. And I think this wasabi note here, yes, it does lend that spiciness, but also I get the ginger as well. So if you like fragrances that are on the soft, spicy side, if you want something that's more unisex, this is a great option to try. I personally don't get the cinnamon that much at all, actually, but I do get the wasabi notes, a bit of like a citrusy aspect to it with the florals. This is very interesting. I don't know if this would be appropriate for like super high heat in the summertime, but let's just say it's a cloudy day, it's rainy, and it's a summer, it's a little bit humid. I feel like this would be perfect for that. It's actually cloudy and raining outside, and I feel like this is like a cozy fragrance while still having a few of the refreshing qualities to it. It's a cozy fragrance because it has that slight spiciness to it, but it's not like your typical super spicy fragrance. It's a spiciness in the form of like a soft, spicy set of notes with the ginger, the wasabi. It's very unusual. I really like it a lot. And I also love that it has that citrusy air. I feel like it just makes it makes the fragrance a lot more approachable. And I really, really like it. And I think it's super underrated. So this bottle was gifted to me by the brand, but I loved the fragrance before I even had the bottle. I really, really like this. If you're looking for something more unusual and you're a fan of like more even tea, like refreshing fragrances, this is one to try. I really like it, and it's super underrated. Next up is a brand that just recently launched. I believe it was last year, but this is the brand Binaurale. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is a brand that has 4 fragrances out so far, and these are supposed to be fragrances that can be worn in the heat. So I believe the brand is based in Miami, so these are supposed to be fragrances that are meant for the summertime. And I filmed a YouTube Shorts video on this entire Discover set where I went a lot more in depth. The Discover set I think is absolutely gorgeous. You have these fragrances arranged like this, and then the actual bottles themselves look very fun and interesting. So I'm just going to go through all of these and tell you like what my thoughts and opinions were on them. First up, we have Incident Light here at the top. This is a really fresh and citrusy perfume. I would say this is the most, I would say, approachable out of all the fragrances, because going down the line, you have some really unusual blends, but this one is by far the one that I think is most universally appealing, because it's kind of like your basic essential for the summertime. If you want something that's like super light and citrusy and kind of like a fresh linen kind of fragrance, this is one to try. It has notes of aldehydes, bergamot, and pink pepper at the top, mid of grass and orange peel, and then a base of solar notes, musk, vetiver, and cashmere. So this is the fragrance that, like I said, very approachable if you're looking for something just basic for the summertime. I don't want to say basic as if it's like a bad thing, but if you're just looking for like a really nice, approachable fragrance that you can spray on and not have to think about, this is the one from the brand to put into that category. I've seen a few people talk about these fragrances, and I think Petal Juice is one of the most polarizing ones in the brand because people see that condensed milk and nectarine set of notes, and people think it's going to be like a gourmand fragrance. It's really not, in my opinion. I definitely get something that's more floral with this perfume, and I get a slight plasticky background with the vinyl that I actually really like. So Petal Juice is one that I think is very interesting, unusual. I do like it a lot, but I can't see it being a polarizing scent, so this is not something that you want to blind buy. Next up, we have Super Solid. Now, this is one of my favorite fragrances. My second favorite, my first favorite, depends. This is a really interesting perfume with a top note of mandarin, then a mid of lavender and labdanum, and then a base of ambroxan and amber. This is, yes, an amber forward fragrance, but the ambroxan makes it lighter, and the labdanum adds a slight leathery accord to it that I find fascinating. And something that's really important to remember is these are all fragrances meant to be worn like in the heat. And that's why I find Super Solid really fascinating, because it plays with that amber in a way that's still very refreshing and interesting. So I feel like this is like your perfect summer night kind of scent. And by the way, all of these fragrances are unisex, even though I think Petal Juice leans a little bit more feminine. I think these fragrances can be worn by anyone. That's my opinion personally. But then Happy Hardcore is another really unusual scent. This is a fruity fragrance that has a lot of interesting qualities to it. So it has a top of saffron, nutmeg, and rose, a mid of black pepper, guava, jelly, and jasmine sambac, and then a base of patchouli and oak moss. So this is a fragrance that has like a guava jelly kind of accord to it, but it's a slight spicier perfume. The saffron makes it a little bit more zesty, and it's a fragrance that will last. It has that strong base of patchouli and oak moss, so this is going to be a heavy hitter fragrance. A little bit goes a long way. This is, I would say, one of the most powerful fragrances in this set. Definitely an impactful fragrance. But yeah, those are my high-level opinions on these four fragrances. I think these are definitely some more unusual scents for the summertime from a brand that's niche and relatively new to the market. So definitely consider getting this discovery set. I got mine from Ariel Shoshana, and I believe it's around $30. Not bad for a discovery set like this, but I think that these are some really unusual scents to try for the summertime, so that's why I wanted to include them in this video. Alright, that's it for this video. Those are the 10 fragrances that I think are really unusual and extra special niche perfumes for the summertime. I'm going to be filming the affordable version of this video as well, so be sure to check that out. Thank you for watching till the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. I'll see you next time. Bye.